Welcome to the Mind Over Body podcast. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified when the next podcast is coming out. Welcome to the Mind Over Body podcast. This is episode 5. Joining me today, I've got a very good close friend of mine. We normally see each other at least once a week, or we chat each other most days. But I want people to understand who he is, why he does what he does. Also on the podcast, we talk about mental health and helping people progress from being stuck in a situation where they think they can't get out of to helping them, really. So if you're listening, and this helps, please let me know. So today we've got Jim Holburn. He is the founder, chairman of the Wounded Highlanders. Hi Jim, you alright mate?
Not bad mate, yeah. Good.
Oh, good. Just introduce yourself mate, and people, if they listen to the old series, they'll know who you are, because they've just heard me and you chat all night, but because it's a new series, then yeah, I still want to introduce you and see if we can get more people our way in the Highland Games in the Highland Games team. So crack on, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, like you've already said, I'm Jim Holborn. I am the founder, creator of the Wounded Highlanders. Served in the British Army for just shy of 10 years. Argue the case, let's say 10 years. Served with the Parachute Regiment and the Royal Logistics Corps. I was medically discharged after a parachute accident and had to learn to walk again. Not long after being discharged, I was diagnosed with severe PTSD, and that's when the black dog came, bit us in the arse, and when you start struggling, you know. It's leaving school to join the military, then 10 years later, you're living in a house with a fiancée and a 2-year-old son. You go to work one day, you come back at the end of that day, and the way it was back then was I was unemployed. No early warning signs, no notifications from the military, nothing like that. It was sort of go to work, had an appointment with a med officer, and he turned around and said, as of the end of today, you're no longer in the military, get yourself home, enjoy your leave, hand your ID card in a couple of months when you get the letter.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's not unheard of in the old days, to be fair. But I think they put things in place to prevent that from happening. But we'll talk about that with a whiskey, and then we'll just annihilate the army. But no. So what have you been doing, mate? What have you been cracking on with, and how you been doing it, and where you been doing it?
Mate, you know me. It's literally every day is a full-on 14, 16-hour day, and not a penny coming through the door. It's obviously at home every day. Like obviously with the wife, she's gone to work and everything, working every hour God sends due to COVID. The two boys, obviously they've got busy lives now. One 12-year-old school all the time, and then the army cadets. The eldest 17-year-old college full-time. Then the police cadets. Then he's working on weekends, so dad taxi full-time. The only taxi in the country that doesn't make any money, I think. Away from that, obviously myself, just keep myself busy, you know, trying to find motivation to fight, and also the time to get back into the training after sort of a long winter off. Obviously, it wasn't feeling too well in the middle of December. Sort of about the 15th, 16th of December, start feeling I was going downhill. Had a bit of a chest infection or whatever it was. Started having problems with my legs. And then, wham, got hit with COVID. So that took us straight through Christmas and New Year. And then, obviously, after the isolation and all that, I feel I just lost so much muscle mass in my legs that they weren't working. Sitting about, lying about for 2-3 weeks. It was hard.
You know I can help you get that back.
It was just hard to get back. Mate, you know what it is? The hardest part was once you know yourself, once you sit down for too long and you relax for too long, you need the motivation to get back up. But what made it even worse was because I was sitting down and lying about for so long, I never had my leg support and leg brace on. So obviously the way my leg twisted back round again, I've now got to train it back to be the correct weight, should we say, and then force brace back on. And basically, like when some people used to get the old braces in the mouth and every now and then they would have to tighten them to straighten the teeth. It's the same sort of thing with my leg, which I'm dreading, but it needs to be done.
Yeah, it does, because we've got a busy year.
Yeah, and like that, and on top of all of that, then every minute I think I can sit down and just chill out, I'm picking up folders for different events. Obviously, your event coming up this weekend. For events, like the planning started for pretty much every event, all the way up until the 20th of August when we'll be up in Stirling. So, and then on top of that, I've got the sort of 2.5 week road trip with the missus and kids that I'm planning as well. So it's just admin after headache after headache.
Well, if you have listened to previous podcasts, you'll understand that this is a major thing for Jim, because he is called badmin, because he can't do any admin whatsoever. So that's just one from me. So,
well, I don't know.
You are motivated. You can't sit there and tell me you're not motivated, because you probably. I want people to understand why you did the Wounded Highlanders. So I want you to talk a bit more about what kicked you up the arse to start that. That's what I want people to hear. And it's no personal reason. It was more the fact of, this is what we do, let's do it. So just tell people about why you started the Wounded Highlanders, and then tell me that you're not motivated, because that's to me, that's not going to happen.
Well, to be honest, explain it properly. What probably have to go further back than the creation of the Wounded Highlanders was obviously through my accepting my injury and everything like that was easier than other people, because I could hide mine. I could hide mine underneath my clothing. I didn't have a limb missing. But then it also became harder in another way, was because mine was classed as sort of a hidden wound. I felt like I had to always explain myself. And then from there, obviously, I just got used to it. I learned to talk about it. Obviously, done all of my mental health therapies and treatments, to the point where I realised I'm so passionate about talking about my injury, my recovery, my mental health, that by talking about it so much and being so passionate about it, it can help others, to the point where over time it started bleeding into sports. So I then got into the athletics. I was then competing for the Gateshead Harriers. Probably is one of the biggest athletics clubs, in my opinion, in the UK. It's had Paralympians and Olympians in, I would like to say, every Olympic Games that's ever been. And then from there, and after a while, people were shocked, because I was competing against these big blokes at able-bodied events. And then when they'd see me at the end of the event pick up a silver or a bronze or come fourth or wherever, or getting a PB in the shop putting the discus, when I was getting changed on the sideline, they were all shocked to say that obviously the damage I had to my leg, I shouldn't really be able to compete at the level they were competing at.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
It just went from there, and obviously I realised that sport, I got into a lot of other sports. I went out to America in 2016 and competed against the Americans, brought two bronze medals back from there. And I just got told by doctors and stuff, look, you need to slow down. The faster you go, the faster the deterioration in your leg will happen. And I was like, yeah, that ain't happening. So I decided stupidly to run the 69 mile from across Hadrian's Wall in 19 hours. All because one night on the drink I was told I wouldn't be able to do it now, even though I'd done it a few years back and it took us 22 years. I wouldn't be able to do it because of my injury. So without any training, as you know, with about 3 weeks' notice, I got a lift.
Remind you of anyone by any chance?
I got a lift off a friend to Barrow and Finesse or wherever on the west coast. He dropped us off with me Bergen, me water, and me boots, and I set off. And then I was picked up at a sort of Wall's End 19 hours later, and it was argued between myself and my partner at the time do I go to bed or do I go to hospital? I went to bed.
And then went to hospital.
Yeah, done 2 great nights.
The Wounded Highlanders. We are a team of injured, sick veterans competing in the Scottish Highland Games. My discount code is TONNER10, TONNER, all in capital letters. You can visit the website, it's in the description below. Let's get back to the podcast.
Again, 0 training. The second one I was on a stag do up until about 4 hours before we had to be on the start line. Again, not good, but it was just something I done. I felt that even though being physically fit is important, for me it was I had the mental strength to get my body over the finish line. I could mentally put one foot in front of the other when the muscles and the bones and the ligaments were screaming out to stop. I was mentally strong enough to keep going. And it sort of, again, it went from there, and it sort of went out to where I started helping other people out. My son wanted to get into training and stuff, so it was that, and then it just escalated from there to 2019, where I got a phone call to see, because at the time I was a UK Athletics throw coach and official, and I got a phone call to see they had a Highland Games Association vice president in North Yorkshire, and he wants to meet us and see if I want to do a couple of days Highland Games coaching. So yeah, no, but I'll come down. Went down, start throwing the equipment. I thought, no, this is for me. None of this spit and polish athletics, nice shiny shot puts and gleam and aerodynamic discuses, what I was paying £300 or £400 a time for. This was like brute force, didn't look pretty, but it felt good. And as you know, you were there, and he turned around and said, we've got an event in, I want to say 3 months time, 2 months time or whatever. Do you just want to compete? So obviously, you know, yourself, we all went up there with under the banner of a certain military charity badge. Went up there, competed. Prince Charles was there and stuff like that. And throughout the day, even though I was competing and at times taking breaks, unwanted breaks,
why did you pass out or anything?
Yeah.
You had a bit of a lie down, didn't you?
I did. On
the tug of war, so I went, oh, Jim's asleep. That's fine. Carry on chugging.
I think it was the first time in history to do with veterans or active military that an American came to a British aid. So let's say that was a bit.
We were still holding on to the rope, that's why.
So, and like, even though I was competing, I was fully focused on wanting to do good for myself and stuff. I seen how much it helped every other injured veteran there, and how much the public were interested. I think there was over 5,000 people there on the day, and when you're competing, you don't realise that. And then, like, seeing the reactions of them when Davy Dent in his wheelchair's flipping cables, when Kieran's managing to walk unaided, which you couldn't do, to competing under the rules, and all that side of it. And then, like we say, the head shed and that were there, and there was guys from Australia were wanting us to go out there. There was guys from the Scottish Highland Games Association wanting us to do things there. And then the word come through that as of the end of this event, there's zero funding, zero interest from all of these people or groups of people that state they are there to help injured, wounded or sick military veterans. And I stood there and I couldn't believe it. And this was in front of Prince Charles and all the head shed. And there is times where I open my mouth without thinking, and this was probably one of them, where I just went, like, I'll do it, I'll sort it out. And then certain individuals from certain organisations walked away with sort of a bit of a grunt and a smile to say, yeah, good luck with that one. And then Prince Charles was there, and he sort of wished us luck. The Highland Games Association were there, and they said, look, any help we can give you, we'll give you. And it snowballed from there. A 16-hour drive home, broken down car, and that sort of stuff made us think that what can I do to do it? And then we sat in the recovery centre, as you remember, and the word come through that they were closing the centres down due to COVID, as you remember, and the word come through that they were closing the centres down due to COVID, and it sort of went from there, right? We're locked down, nationally locked down. How do I keep myself busy? And that was when I went full steam ahead. 24 hours a day sitting in the house, you're being basically marshalled by the government to stay in your house. So I had to keep myself physically and mentally active. So I threw myself into that, looking into the books, videos online, research and stuff, emails, to the point where I started more than likely annoying people because they weren't replying to us quick enough. So over time, as you know, we started putting online training on, bringing more members in. I think at the very early doors, I raised nearly £6,000 to buy equipment so we could sort of train, I could get it sent out to members. And then before you know it, the emails are coming through from the Royal Highland Games Association saying we've all voted and we want you to be an associated member. So now us were officially recognised as the first ever adaptive Highland Games team.
And that is what?
And then it's just snowballed from there. You know,
and that is why you can't tell me that you have got no motivation.
Mate, my motivation to help others is through the roof. My motivation to help myself is rock bottom.
Well, that ain't going to happen. You got me as a mate, so it ain't going to happen. Is it really?
It's not the motivation to train. I've got the motivation to train. You've seen me back garden. It's like a strongman gym, like a Highland Games event field. You know, I've got everything and anything there. It's not that. It's getting your sofas A, the deadlift bars B. It's the getting from A to B. Once I'm at B, I can follow on through. It's just that motivation to find the time to train. And
because I want to know what you got planned for the future in regards to the Highland Games team, because I sort of know, because we are in comms quite often, and a lot of decisions you sort of ask advice on, and what do you think we should do this, how we should do that. So I know, but I want people to understand. Like, this is all about understanding what people's like. If you look at what you've done for all of the members for the team, you have helped them mentally and physically get over hurdles and what they need to do to get the job done. So, from my point of view, you saved me in lockdown, because all I had to do was I was there on hand, I was there helping you do whatever you needed to do. I was doing videos, I was doing whatever else you wanted me to do. And that's what people don't see, and that's what people don't understand. So, what have you got planned for the future? Because what you've done in a lockdown to what you can do when we're not in lockdown, I'm a little bit excited. I really am, because there is a lot of things happening this year, and I'll let you explain. So tell people what you've got planned for this year.
Again, for this year, my plans for me personally is, the main one is to defend my title at the May Games in August.
Not happening, mate, sorry.
Which obviously is the big one. Obviously, I want to be the 2-time champion there.
No, that's not happening.
Other than that, obviously, I want to extend my 2 world records and hopefully pick up at least one more. I want to, again, personally for me, I want to get a couple of ticks in the boxes for some of the Scottish natural stones that are on my road trips, where I can get round them and sort of get the video footage or the photo evidence of us lifting some of the historic stones. But for the team, it's starting to look like a busy year. At the moment, there's penciled in there is 10 events. That is from Atlas Stone events to natural stone events to Highland Games events. So, and obviously the next one is your event in this weekend coming up.
Yeah, we'll talk a bit about that in a minute.
And hopefully to tie in with that is to bring in some new members, you know, and hopefully this week find out or get the confirmation that the Wounded Highlanders have got their own, pretty much their own athletic stadium as their home, you know, which, again, I don't really want to say where that is just yet until it's fully confirmed. But
Yeah, no, spot on. I'm looking forward to this year, mate. It's sort of like, well, you know how busy I am normally, and the fact that you've pretty much given me an event every month, plus my other events in the Strongman. I'm looking forward to this year, and I can't wait. So it's going to be, I am going to give you a bit of a battle. You know I am.
That's what it's all about, though. You know,
exactly.
I don't want to go to an event.
To be fair, I don't want you to have that again. This is Rebel Strength. They do a lot of gym equipment, gym clothing. The discount code is MT5, all capital letters. The website link is in the description below. Let's get back to the podcast. So
I don't want to go to an event and think to myself that I have to put 70% in to win.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to have to make your ass off. I know there's going to be one event you're going to beat me at because you are absolutely phenomenal at it, and that's the hammer. And to be fair, you've got two hands, I've got one. And if I get anywhere near you, then you really do need to start picking up your game.
That old chestnut.
Right, it's the old chestnut. Do it with one arm, see if we can get it. Right, there we go. But so I'm quite happy with the fact that I've got a busy year in regards to Strongman and the Highland Games, because I don't plan on being at home at all. I plan on travelling. I plan on seeing as much as Scotland and as the world I can. So this year, what's penciled in, I could be in three different countries. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I really am. So, if I ask you a question, mate, and this is a personal one, why do you do what you do? Why do you do it? Why do you compete? Why do you, not the Highland Games, not the team? Why do you do it mentally? What's your focus on getting it done? Like, you know what mine is. Yeah, I want people to understand what yours is. So, why do you do what you do?
I think the more I move, the less I sit and think. You know, it's the way it is. If you're struggling or if you've got any form of poor mental health, because a lot of people don't realise there's good mental health and there's bad mental health. The bad mental health is obviously for us in our sort of community, is the anxiety, the depression, the PTSD is the big one. I feel the more I sit still and do nothing, the more I think about nothing, which then becomes thinking about the stuff you don't want to think about, which then again snowballs. It's that snowball effect of, obviously, it all builds up before you know it, it's too much. Where I like the idea of the Rolling Stone collects no more, you know. It's so that, obviously, the competing side of it, as in the Highland Games events, I just love them because they're just bare boned. It's just seeing natural strength. It's, like I said, it's not any of these. Like, nothing against athletics. I competed in athletics for 4 or 5 years. You know, it's nice now and then to still pick up a brand new, shiny shot put or a nice new shiny athletics hammer on a nice shiny cable with a handle. You know, it's nice now and then to do that and to have a nice polished circle to throw from. But really, you cannot get a better feeling than whacking a pair of boots on with 6-inch blades sticking out the front of them, whacking tree sap all over your hands, and digging yourself into the mud and swinging, pretty much the easiest way to explain it, swinging a broomstick round with a big heavy ball on the end of it. Like, oh, yeah.
I know the feeling, mate. You don't have to sell it to me. I do it. I love it. So, but
if there was sort of generations for sports, the Highland Games would be the caveman.
Yeah.
It's just
and looking at the pair of us, we're pretty much fucking cavemen.
What you see is what you get. It's, if you pick a Highland Games piece of equipment up, you don't have to say, what do you do with this?
No.
You look at it and you know, and you just think, right, what's the stupid thing you can do with this? Well, that's it. It is. You know, in the military, we had the log race, telegraph pole, few handles, common sense. You pick it up and you run with it for 5 miles. Nowadays, we've got a 17-foot telegraph pole there weighing 200 pounds. What do you think we're going to do with it? We're going to pick it up, we're going to run with it, and then we're going to decide to throw it. You know? There's no more.
No, that's exactly. Well, that's what we do it for. And to be fair, I spoke to a lot of people and saw loads of stories on here, which basically it's one of them competitive events where you just get sucked in and then it's you. You know what I mean? And it's a family thing as well. Do you know what I mean? It isn't like we all get together, we all bring our families, we're all camping, we're all drinking, we're all throwing heavy stuff, and then we finish, we all get drunk, we all have a barbecue, and we all start camping. And that's what I like. I like the fact that we can just disappear, do what we need to do, and then decide when we're coming back. And that's the good thing about it. So you have mentioned it a few times now. And that is the event at the weekend. It's not my event, it's our event really. I'm just, like you said on a couple of occasions, if I'm mad enough to do it, you're mad enough to organise it. So this is the man who is organising the 24-hour deadlift challenge. I am just doing the deadlift. I am passionate about the causes that we're doing, which are to raise funds for the Wounded Highlanders, so we can get our people to events, we can get them kit and equipment, we can get them accommodation. That's what it's all for. And also a big thing for me and Jim is suicide prevention. Now everyone sort of assumes that it's just suicide prevention for veterans. Everyone, any human that needs to have suicide prevention awareness is what it's for. And we hold it quite well because we are known, or we've heard plenty of people that we've served with, plenty of people that we haven't served with, and it still hits home to me. So that's what the event's for. So I'll let Jim explain a little bit more on the backside of the event, which is we've been organising it. He's worked hard. He's got all sorts for me. So Jim, explain what you've got planned for me on the 24-hour deadlift, apart from me lifting as much weight as I can in a 24-hour period.
I'll try and explain as much as I can. Obviously, it's all wrote down. It's that much. So yeah, obviously you're deadlifting for 24 hours, starting at 1 p.m. on the Saturday, running through the evening, night, morning into 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon. Whilst we're there, obviously it'll be broadcast live for the full 24 hours on YouTube. As long as, I think the only issue we could have there is the internet, which shouldn't be an issue. Behind obviously, in the next room, we're going to have, obviously, the mental health and wellbeing team all set up there for you and for, obviously, anything else that goes on during the event. We've got the support from Healthy Kitchen, who's supplying you all your food for the 24 hours. We've got support from, I'm still waiting to hear back, but hopefully from Well Hydrate, to obviously provide all of the drinks and everything. But me, personally, for that 24 hours, obviously, one, keep you entertained, keep you in the right mindset. Obviously, again, that comes down to the mental health and wellbeing team, but somebody that knows you're a bit more personal, I can sort of say things to you that they can't, let's say, or that isn't in the textbook. But my sort of role, let's say, is, other than to make sure everything runs smooth, is that keep everyone updated via the team's social media accounts. I plan to hopefully by Thursday this week have sort of a running order for the full 24 hours to do, like, I don't know, say let's every hour or every 2 hours we'll go live on social media with a different person, with a different guest to speak about, obviously, you, speak about the event, speak about the Highlanders, speak about suicide prevention, speak about mental health, and also, obviously, at the end of it all, with the aim to raise funds for the team and that side of it, you know. So it's going to be busy. As much as I might not be seeing much on the actual feed, it will be busy because I'll be running about doing everything and anything else behind closed doors. And somewhere in between all that, I'll also have to head home to drop off and pick up my kid from work and then back. So, yeah, you might be having the 24 hours of standing in the same spot.
I can swap if you want. I'll swap if you want. Hey, I've got no problem with swapping.
Yeah, nah,
I thought not. But no, it's going to be, I think the 24 hours, and we've had a couple of interviews this week, and we're going to get a few people sorted, and I'm wanting to interview people, not interview it in such a way where I'm asking questions. The whole day is for me to find as many coping mechanisms as possible, because my coping mechanism and your coping mechanism is different but similar. But yours might work for somebody else, whereas mine might work for somebody else, and that's what it's all about. Because if someone's just sharing their coping mechanism, or the way KTM Nutrition, you do all your dietary and supplement needs, whether you want to lose weight or gain weight. Discount code is MT10, capital letters. The website for KTM Nutrition is in the link in the description below. And now we're going to get back to the podcast. With their mental health, that might save a life. And to be fair, I've had a situation happen this week where I was drawn in, and I had to do it, and I had to sort it out, and I am sorting it out to the point where that person will not leave me, and that's going to happen. So we've got a few guests coming. We've had a shout out by Donna Moore, which is the world's strongest woman. She put a post out, so thank you for your support, Donna. Thank you very much. And we're going to have other people turn up. I don't really want to confirm names. I want to make it a surprise. I want to make it sort of, this come next, and who's next, and who's next. So yeah, it's going to be busy. So I will be interviewing people, and I will be getting their coping mechanisms just to help people. Now, I've told you plenty of times as well, if we save one life in that 24 hours, or past it, that's all worth it to me. I want to raise as much money as I can. It would be daft if I didn't. But to me, saving lives is more important. But we're going to try and raise as much money. And the 24-hour deadlifting challenge t-shirt, that's out now. So make sure you click on the link below, and you can get your order in. If not, order it on the day, and we'll wrap them. We'll send them off from there, and you'll be able to have your 24-hour deadlift challenge t-shirt. Because more than likely I'll do it again next year. I'll try and beat myself on it. But that's just me being me. So yeah, Jim, I can't thank you enough for helping me sort this out. I couldn't have done it by myself. Nowhere near could I have got the resources or the support by myself. Because like you said, I'm mad enough to stand there and deadlift for 24 hours. You're mad enough to do all the organising. So happy with that, and I couldn't thank you enough, because this is a big thing for us. But also on the day as well, which we're going to mention, I'll let Jim talk about it a little bit more than I do, because he's going to be taking all the information. On the 24 hours, we will be holding a sort of opening day, sort of event, sort of information in regards to the Wounded Highlanders. So if you are injured, sick or wounded, and you want to find something that might trigger you to become healthier mentally, or you want to challenge yourself, then come down, speak to Jim. He'll take all your details. We'll give you as much information as possible. We can't really say because it's not been confirmed, but we are trying to hold a massive training day in Catterick sometime in February, where we can get new members in. They can see what we do. They can be a part of the family. They can be a part of the community, and that's it then. So even if you just want to come and have a look, you don't have to throw nothing. It's just more about what we do and the support that we offer each other. There is no prejudice, there's no discrimination, there's nothing to be ashamed of, there's nothing to hide from. It's all about us lot throwing heavy stuff, camping and drinking whiskey. Can't ask for anything better than that. So yeah, Jim, if you want to give a bit more details on what we're doing on that day, that side of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered it. Like you say, obviously on the day I will have some of the Highland Games equipment there. Not for people to throw, more for them to see, get a grip of it, feel it, see what, obviously I can explain it to them each event, that sort of stuff. And there's many different ways that can be involved with the Wounded Highlanders. There can be a member that comes along to the training for the simple fact of training, keeping fit, both mentally and physically, trying out a new sport, trying a new event. There's that side of it. If they want to then progress on to get better at it, and obviously you never know, they might then want to actually get to the point where they want to compete, they want to attend official events, be it stone events, be it strongman events, be it Highland Games events. We can then lead them on in the right direction with that, with training and support. If they wants to compete, and if they then want to go on to attempt world records, such as, you know, at the moment the team hold 9 Highland Games world records and a few strongman world records. Obviously, if they want to go on and challenge themselves for world records, we can help them, support them, and train them towards that. There's not just the training that gets done face to face. There's the stuff and support. There's the training and support that gets done via video messages or Zoom calls, that sort of stuff. There's always interaction that way. Or if they just want to come along and be a part of something, they can. You know, it's plain and simple. We're not just a competition team. We're a massive team that has got, within that team, we've got the strongmen, we've got the Highland Games, we've got the keeping active, the keeping fit, everything along them lines. Come along, Veterans Hub, Newton Cliff, from, let's say, midday Saturday through to midday Sunday. Get along, or fire us a message on Instagram. It's at wounded_Highlanders. The link's also on the bio there for anyone who wants to donate. And again, obviously, like you mentioned, the T-shirts, if they want to pre-order them now, that'll be going out in the post on Thursday. It's on woundedhighlanders.co.uk.
Happy days, mate. Plus, what I'm going to mention, we are taking Atlas stones. So if you want to have a go at some Atlas stones, come down and we'll have a go. I think the heaviest one we're going to have is 110. And it's going to be 5 stone down. So see how many you can get to. So, mate, thank you for coming on tonight. We're going to call it a day there. I'd just like to say thank you for helping me sort out this event, for supporting me and planning it all. Because, like I said, mate, there's no one better I could do as to plan an event as you. So, thank you much for that. So, remember, guys, if you've got any questions in relating to any of the event or anything issues that we've caused today, please send them in and we'll answer them straight away or as soon as possible. Remember, the 29th, Saturday 29th of January at 1300 is my first lift, and I'll be lifting all the way to the Sunday. My last lift will be Sunday at 1 o'clock. So I'd like to say thank you, Jim, for coming on. Remember, guys, if you need any support, if you want any more information, please let me know. All the information, all the links for Jim's social is going to be tagged to the bottom of this, and I'll speak to you all soon. Remember, mind over body, and have a good day.